Mother, man.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
Alright, me and CK hanging out here at Wildman Street, doing a little bonus stuff here for the podcast. CK, you're recovering from being in the hospital for 5 weeks.
Yeah, I was all dicked up.
You were all dicked up. Looking all bald and studly. You're trying to look like me, I guess, you know.
We're the twins now.
I guess. But we thought this would be fun for the listeners to see us talking instead of just hear. Since I'm here visiting for the last couple days, and we're doing this here in your living room, just kind of chilling out, informal. And thought we'd talk about some of the great metal shows we've been to, because we've been through some good ones, man. Because we both grew up here in Connecticut. You're still here, of course, but. Yep. I moved away in 1990, and but a lot of those early shows we went to were...
There was a good scene.
There was some really good stuff back in the day when, you know, the metal stuff that we were listening to was like on the verge of exploding, so...
You had places to go see stuff around here, but now...
Not so much.
Unfortunately, you either got to pretty much go to New York, or once in a while in New Haven we'll have a couple good shows, but... It's few and far between, and to get to New York and to catch a show, it's impossible to get tickets. Like when Iron Maiden went to Madison Square Garden, tickets are gone in 30 seconds.
Wow.
So you can't even...
Yeah, and that sucks, and they're so expensive to go to anymore,
yeah,
you know.
Which sucks, because I really wanted to see them, but you know what, I'm not going to fucking pay $300, $400 for a ticket that I could have gotten for, you know, a quarter of that. But,
right.
You know, it's sad. It's the way the industry is now. But back then, we were doing shows for like $20.
I know, it's crazy. You get a T-shirt for $10.
You bring $60. You get
every shirt they had.
You get a fucking. You get something to eat, a shirt, and a ticket.
Right, and you were good.
Yeah, and you were good.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
No.
You're lucky to park and get there for $60. So anyway, I thought it would be fun to talk about some of these good shows, and some of these we haven't really prepared for this. We just kind of informally talked about it. But I know the few I have in my mind were shows that you were physically at. We might not have gone together,
but we were
both there.
The biggest one that stands out is King Diamond's first.
Was the first U.S.
tour he toured with Megadeth and Blessed Death.
Yes.
In a small club called Sneakers.
Yeah, and that was in Connecticut. What was the town that was in? I don't even remember. Yeah, it's Eastern.
Yeah, it was Eastern Connecticut. It was like out in the boondocks somewhere.
Yeah, but I remember I was there. Excited because I just started getting into King Diamond and Merciful Fate. He split from Merciful Fate.
And I think you were dressed up, right?
I was. Yeah. I was wearing the King Diamond makeup like I used to do back when I went to see him back then. And I remember Mickey D was standing there by the soundboard, and I went over and talked to him. And he was just like literally first time in the United States.
Yeah, he didn't understand a lick of English.
No, he was barely could speak English, but he was very excited about being in the U.S. because it was their first show of that tour, of the Fatal Portrait tour. And so that was really awesome. That was just such a great show, but Megadeth was awful.
But I remember it didn't start out too well. Blessed Death was the first band.
They were bad.
And this guy kept going, Blessed Death, they're awesome. And they came on, and this guy sounded like a fucking stuck pig. He was fucking horrible. So I think they played for like 30 minutes.
Right.
And I'm like, well, Megadeth, they got to kick ass.
And Megadeth, well, all I remember of Megadeth was the Sting was so fucked up.
He was so fucked up on heroin.
They were like holding him up on stage. He couldn't
They were
even
so
stand up.
sloppy. It was unbelievable that what they sound like now compared to when we saw them.
Yeah.
It was a fucking train wreck.
It was bad, and this venue too was really small. I mean, there couldn't have been more than a couple hundred people.
If there was 350 people, that would probably been a lot.
Yeah.
I think the tickets were only like $15.
Yeah, it was cheap. But of course, King Diamond was fucking
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
Oh yeah, he kicked ass.
That was amazing. Did a lot of Merciful Fate stuff.
Because he only had the Fatal Portrait.
Right.
So he did basically half a set of Merciful Fate and half a set of Fatal Portrait.
Yeah, and I remember I was up real close, and he saw me with the makeup, and then at the end of the show, I was waiting for them outside the dressing room, and the manager, Ale Bang, took me backstage, and I got to meet King Diamond, and he was taking his makeup off in front of the big, like one of those theatrical mirrors, and we just sat there and talked as he was taking his makeup off. It was really cool. And the band was back there, but none of them spoke any English.
They were from Sweden. They had no clue.
Yeah, so it was a good time. But King Diamond was the only one, and Ale were the only two that could.
But they were tight as hell. They
were amazing.
They was definitely put on a great show.
That was really good. And then at the same venue, we saw a great show there.
I think the first time Fleet's Warning really toured, wasn't it?
As far as I know, I mean, it was the first time I had ever seen them, but it was on the Spectre Within tour.
I don't think they toured
fucking amazing.
I don't think they toured on the Night on Rockin' tour. I don't think they.
Yeah, if they did, it wasn't anything.
They might have done a couple local shows, but
right.
I know that was the first time that I saw Fate's Warning. I saw every tour from them up until now, so I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I've not seen them that many times, but that was a great show because I just started getting into Fate's Warning.
Yeah, they played a lot of Spectre stuff, which was great if I remember.
Oh yeah.
And they were tight as hell.
Yeah, of course the John Arch days were amazing.
He sounded fucking amazing.
Yeah, that was a great show. I remember being up close for that one too, and it was really exciting because I just started getting into them, and so it was just so cool to see them, and they sounded great.
Like a band from your own hometown, Connecticut.
Right.
At that time, Metal Blade, which you thought if you're on Metal Blade.
Oh yeah, you're big time.
You're the shit. Even though it's an independent.
Right. No, that was a great show. Now I know that when I moved away, of course, we weren't at the same shows, but there was one other show that I saw that you weren't at because you hadn't seen them yet. But I went and seen Iron Maiden on the Peace of Mind tour with Fastway, I think, opened up, and they were amazing. That was my first metal show ever. Was that show? So that
hell of a show to see.
Yeah, it was unbelievable because I remember going with a friend, and it was I think in New Haven Coliseum,
right?
And I remember, I'd never been to a metal show before, so I really didn't know what to expect. And I remember, he was saying, "Oh, it's going to take them so long to set up the stage," so we were going to get up and go walk around. And it seemed like the set change was just like really quick.
And they were right on time.
And the fucking lights went out and they opened with Where Eagles Dare, and it was like, holy shit, it was so unbelievable. Sounded so good. And it was fucking Maiden, like in their the height, or the beginning of their ascension in the
right when they're about ready to take off right after the
Number of the Beast,
right after they hopped off that tour with Priest, which Priest, pretty much. I said before on our podcast, I don't think if Priest was successful on that tour, I don't think Maiden would be where they are now.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I think they kind of helped each other because Maiden was kind of a big buzz and Priest was already kind of launching into that. So Priest was a little ahead of them. Yeah. But yeah, it was just, I wished I could have seen that tour, but I did not. But
and my first time seeing Maiden was Power Slave, so another great tour to see.
Oh yeah,
that stage set.
Yeah.
So
that was amazing. Now I know that we've been to, of course after I moved away in '90, I didn't get to go to a lot of shows because I had little kids and I was always broke. Right. So I didn't get to go to very many shows, but you've been to, quite a few.
I've probably seen every possible. I've seen Death Angel a couple times. Overkill I must have seen like 10 times. Metal Church 6 or 7 times. I can't even tell you how many. I probably went to like 600 concerts, and I can't tell you how many bands I probably saw.
Probably 666.
Probably, yeah. but another concert that I'll never forget is Metallica at the Agora Ballroom.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I should have mentioned that.
Right before Cliff died, it was I think Metallica was actually the opening band.
No, they were the head. It was them and Wasp and Armored Saint.
Armored Saint was a special guest.
Yeah, but Wasp and Metallica were co-headlining and headlining and playing last every other night.
Right.
And that night, Metallica played last.
Right.
So it was Armored Saint, Wasp, and at that time, Wasp was really good.
They were
killer.
A good show.
Armored Saint was great. Wasp was great, and then Metallica just fucking killed it, man. That was unbelievable with Cliff.
That was the last time you saw him with Cliff. I think he died a couple months after that.
No, actually, it was the Puppet or Master of Puppets tour. I saw him again, and then that was the tour that he died.
They opened for Ozzy. That's right. I didn't see that tour. Then after that, after Cliff died, when they got Jason,
right?
I saw the first tour with them with Jason.
Oh, that's cool. I did not see that.
At the Agora Ballroom, which Metal Church opened.
Nice.
It was killer.
That's cool. But yeah, that was a great show. I remember that Metallica show specifically. We've been talking about this since I've been here. It was a blizzard, and there was like almost nobody there.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to imagine, as big as they've gotten, that there would be nobody at a Metallica show.
My mom was pissed because she was pissed.
Yeah, because that was a good hour away for us from here, and in a blizzard, it took like 3 hours. And you knew there was going to be no
school the next day because so it's like, you got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. You didn't have cell phones those days.
Right, of course.
My mom's up waiting, all nervous, and she goes, "I told you not to go." I go, "There's no way I'm missing this." But as long as I got home safe, she was cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that was a good show. And then, of course, since then we've both been to tons of them.
Yeah.
But those early ones, I think when you're first, as a teenager, you're getting into metal, and these bands were just blowing up, and we were, experiencing things we had not experienced before.
And then I went to the extreme, and I started following hardcore.
Right.
So I would go to in Norwalk, a famous hardcore place called the Anthrax.
Right.
And I saw some killer hardcore bands like Gnostic Front, Bad Brains. So that brought me to a different level of extreme music.
Right.
Eventually everything just metal and hardcore. It's so hard to separate now anyway.
Right.
But back then, if you were a metalhead, you weren't really welcome in those circles.
Right.
So a lot of times you get strange looks.
Right.
With long hair.
Or worse, beat up. Or
luckily that never happened.
Right.
You just have to be careful which bands you go to, because if you get the skins that are dicks, you don't want to go to those shows.
Right.
You just have to be careful with what bands, because if you knew certain bands attract the skins, you don't want to go.
Right.
But never had a problem. But like I said, I don't even know how many concerts I've seen. I've probably seen every friggin' metal band in the 80s. Thrash band, Forbidden, I saw. I could go on.
Of course, yeah. Now, more modern stuff, I know when my son was born, I remember it took him to his first metal show, which was really cool. It was Pantera and Anthrax. Which was really cool.
Yeah, I saw Anthrax like 7 or 8 times too.
Yeah.
So, they always put on a good show.
Yeah. But that was really cool. That was in Peoria, Illinois. I took him to that. And that was another one in a fucking blizzard I remember going to. And he was young. He would have been 6 or 7, Took him to his first show, and then took him to many, many others. And back when I was doing heavycore, we were interviewing the bands together.
I know you interviewed Creator and...
Yeah, Creator and fucking... Exodus and Destruction and Cataclysm, and we've done many interviews with bands, my son and I, and that was really fun because you're getting to kind of pass the torch, to the younger guys, which is always fun.
And then now you guys still go to concerts together.
Yeah, and my grandson now, who's 4, he's a little bit young, but in another few years, I think we'll be ready to take him. Which would be awesome. 3 generations going to the show.
Metalheads would be awesome.
So that would be fun to take him to a show. And of course, anybody who listens to the show has heard my grandson literally every podcast
in the beginning
we've done, because he starts the show and ends the show with his little murder metal mayhem.
Can't miss it.
I've had people ask me, who is that you use for that? And of course, that's my grandson Robbie. So that's
a little stud.
That's really cool. So yeah, it's just kind of cool to pass the metal on to the younger generation.
And unfortunately now with my medical issues, if I go to a concert, it's got to be something I really want to see. And,
right.
It's either going to be like a Dream Theater, a Fates Warning, a Maiden,
right,
or a Priest. Other than that, I just can't. I'm getting too old. It's not that I'm getting too old, but my body can't take it.
Yeah. Well, you've had a lot of health issues, dude. So I mean, it's not your fault.
Well, one of my favorite concerts was 2013 when I saw Fates. You hooked me up.
Oh yeah.
With the backstage, you got me the VIP.
Yeah.
You talked to Jim.
Yeah.
And Jim Matthews, hooked everything up, and I got the VIP treatment, and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. I was glad I was able to do that for you.
You got to see the band rehearse, hung out with the band, talked with them, talked shop with Bobby Jarzenbeck.
Yeah.
We're talking shop about drums. It was fucking incredible.
And then I had John Arch call you too.
Yep.
And Joe DeBias, yeah. So those were fun. That was when we first started talking, when you first got sick.
And those guys were great. And Joey still texts me every.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Every once in a while, how you doing, bro?
Yeah.
How you doing, bro?
That's cool. Yeah, those guys are really good dudes. The former and current Fates Warning guys are good guys.
They're stand-up guys. They deserve everything they get.
Right. So, any other mentions of any other special ones that you recall? Any good shows?
Saw Rat once. Just joking. No.
Well, I know from being on stage, I had a couple of good ones with Low 12. We got to open for Gwar, which was really cool. I'm not a huge Gwar fan,
neither am I.
But the place was packed, and we got to play in front of like 1,500 people.
People love Gwar. I don't get the.
Yeah, I don't. They were good guys, and they were actually better musicians than I thought they were.
They're actually good musicians.
Yeah.
It's just I can't dig them. I don't dig them. I don't know if it's I can't get past the
costumes and stuff.
The costumes and take them seriously.
Right.
Maybe if they were just a regular band, I could probably get into them. I don't know what it is, but it's just not my thing.
But that was a big show for us, and then also we got to open for Cannibal Corpse, which was fucking amazing, which was really good. Good turnout and a good show. So, but as being a musician on stage, those were a couple of standouts that I recall.
Watching Alex Webster rip it up.
Yeah, big time. So very cool.
Probably the best bassist in metal.
I would have to say.
Or in death metal, at least.
Without a doubt. Hands down in death metal, but
I
would
top
say
5
easily.
In metal.
And he plays with his fingers. Which And of course, the bass that I have is the Alex Webster Spectre model, so that's pretty awesome. But good to take a little journey down memory lane with you, CK, talking some metal. And hopefully you guys checking this out, liked a little discussion here on Wildman Street. We're getting warmed up for some volleyball tonight.
We're gonna go kick some ass in volleyball. Volleyball tournament, baby.
Mother. Man.